how does it feel to have delivered such extraordinary results? I was looking at the returns in the last 12 months. The share price have returned 100%. I think that's in the top of 1% of world returns that I can find. It's quite something.
Well, I think the team, including the board, I actually feel that the strategy is kind of coming together, and it's good when the plan falls into place, as they say.
Well done on that. Now, just looking at the headline numbers, we saw really strong profit before tax up 47%, profit after tax up 39%, free cash flow up 55%. I mean, these were really strong, muscular numbers. I mean, far from being, it seems to me you've moved on to the offensive game all of a sudden in the last, in this reporting period.
I think what we'd like to see, how we'd like people to view this, is in the context of what is possible in Africa.
Yes.
And, as I travel around the world, I see people increasingly start to look to the emerging markets, and increasingly start to look to Africa, and increasingly start to look at Kenya. And it shows that as a Kenyan company, it is possible to deliver very, very strong performance.
Because I saw a report saying that actually Vodafone itself was looking to move a lot more capex into the continent because the returns it was seeing here in comparison to Europe and places like that. And I think this is evidence of that, isn't it?
I saw that report as well, yes.
There are not many companies which are able to raise their full year dividend 40.9% and then sort of say this is a sustainable increase. That really speaks to the underlying business, doesn't it?
We see, our shareholders stuck with us from the beginning of the price war, where if you look at the chart of the price, the share price, you see it went right away down, and they stuck with us. And so it is good to be able to reward them for that loyalty, not just in terms of growth in the share value, but also in dividend. And I know we were discussing earlier before we announced the results, your speculation, what you think the dividend payout would be. And we're committing to an 85% payout, which we think is fair and reasonable.
Now, I think I described it on Twitter as you've hit a six straight over the bowler's head. I mean,
I think people know the cricketing analogy.
No, maybe not. But I think if you look across it, that's the impression I've got. And then I was thinking as I was waiting out there, 12, 18 months ago, we had this time of irrational competition, and then what struck me, you showed another slide where you actually showed that our prices remain the cheapest on the African continent in comparison to any other African country, which I thought was quite interesting.
The only country which matches the Kenyan price is Angola.
Yes,
which is is a state-owned kind of monopoly. So yes, we are. Our East African neighbours are 10 times as much.
Which was
South Africa is 15 times as much. So we are the lowest price. But when you said we referred to the price war,
yes,
I would say that the price war is still there.
It's still there. Right.
People haven't really moved their prices.
Yeah.
And they're still cutting each other's throats. But we moved our game on because we came back to focus on what's important for us.
Yes. And what is it?
Important for us is about transforming lives. And I often say this, and people laugh and they think I'm not serious. When I say we measure our success, actually not by these numbers. We don't measure our success by the profit we make. We measure our success by the difference we make. Of course, sometimes we mess up. But you look at the impact that our corporate social responsibility has had on the society at large. 800,000 people who have benefited from medical camps.
How much are you spending on that CSR program, because I'm sure people aren't aware?
In the past year, it was more than $500 million shillings.
Yeah.
And in this year, the commitments that we've already made will probably take it up to $1 billion shillings. Now that is more, we were debating this yesterday, certainly more than anyone else in Kenya, but probably more than anyone else in Africa. But we go beyond the corporate social responsibility part, right? So we go to the products that we launch. One of my favorite products is this thing called M-Kopa.
Yes.
M-Kopa is a solar lighting solution for people in rural communities that don't have access to electricity and are probably unlikely to have access to electricity for a long time. It doesn't make money, but it makes an impact on those customers because the children can do homework. They can then start to compete with your kids who live in an urban district. So our products, M-Shwari, M-Kopa, M-Pesa, we all know about. These are all making a massive, massive difference to the society we live in, and that's what drives us. The numbers fall.
Can I come to the numbers in a minute, but ask you one other question? You're on the UN committee. You've got a very low tolerance for malfeasance. Do you just want to speak a little bit about that? Because I thought you're very ahead of the curve in the way you've taken that approach within the organisation and broadly speaking. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, corruption is a fairly simple thing, and the issue of corruption is a fairly simple thing. And I was really pleased to see. Guys like the new governor of Nairobi, Evans Kidera, also take a very firm and early view and position on this thing. The people who are most hurt are the people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. And, I take the position that says, this is our shareholders' money, and if you steal it, I'm going to have to take you to court. I can't let you get away with it. That's from my position as the CEO of Safaricom. On the Global Compact, the UN Global Compact, this is one of the 4 important pillars. There's corruption, there's environment, there's human rights, and there's the labor rights. And so, as a board member of the Global Compact board, I absolutely have to support all of those 4 pillars through the 10 principles of the UN Global Compact.
Can I return to the business now? I mean, voice, I remember people telling me, Ali Khan, voice is dead. And here I look at this dead voice, it seems to have a bit of life in it, right? I mean, you've grown voice revenue in double digits.
Yes.
It remains, although reduced, I think, by about 200 basis points in terms of total revenue, which is, I'm sure, something you'd like to be seeing. But describe to me what, everyone had, this was a dead thing. What happened to it?
Yes, rumors of its death was a little premature in a number of ways. We still have a lot of people who are coming into the market. So we have grown our customer base by about 300,000 over the year. And this is after we disconnected 1.4 million at the beginning of the year, which were the non-registered SIM cards. If we hadn't, that number would have looked much larger. So there's still new people to come in. And don't forget that we have a very young population here in Kenya. And all those young people are coming into the market still. The second thing we've done is we have, as you recall, we adjusted prices, and we adjusted prices up and down, incidentally. So in October 2011, we put our prices up to 4 shillings and 5 shillings. And then last year, we dropped our off-net pricing, so it's now flat, and it's now 4 shillings, both on and off-net. And so it's a combination of more customers, more usage, and the price adjustment, where we've seen the ARPU, average revenue per user, increase, which is, again, it's another unusual thing. I can't think of any other network.
No, because that's been a declining number wherever you tend to look.
Whenever I look across our sister companies in other parts of the world, I see ARPUs declining. Yeah.
In fact, your ARPU numbers would turn nicely in everything, in fact.
They did, yes.
So voice remains strong, remains the sort of still 2/3 or just under 2/3 of the business, and you're optimistic about that looking forward?
Yes.
Yeah.